In this video, I'm going to cover solving one-step equations. One-step equations just means that one math operation needs to be performed to both sides of the equation in order to find the value for the variable. So let's look at the steps for solving one-step equations. The first is to find what is being done to the variable. Now that variable may be X or Y or A. It doesn't really matter, but we need to find the variable and decide what is being done with it. And then we're going to do the opposite of that math operation with the same number to both sides. If necessary, if we want to double check our work, we're going to substitute our answer back into the original equation and see if it makes it true. I will give you an example of that when we go through the problems on the next page. But here's some example equations that are one-step equations, and let's look at what is being done to the variable in each case. So in this example, y plus 3 equals 10, we are adding 3 to y. So we would want to do this opposite of that to both sides. The opposite of addition is subtraction, and we would subtract 3 from both sides. So we would subtract 3 here, and we would subtract 3 there. I'm not going to solve this because we'll do that on the next page. Let's look at this next one to the right. What's being done to the variable? We are subtracting 6. That means we should do the opposite, which is addition, and the same number. We should add 6 to both sides. Next one, X is being divided by 6. The opposite of division is multiplication, so we should multiply both sides by 6. Like that. And finally, in this last example, A is the variable. It's being multiplied by 5, so we should divide both sides by 5 because division is the opposite of multiplication. Now, let me show you why we're doing this. We're doing it because it's going to cancel everything but the variable on the side with the variable. These two things will cancel each other out in every case here. And then we're just left with our variable equals some math operation on the other side. So we just need to simplify that other side, and that will tell us what the variable value must be. All right, let me clear that off and we'll go to our example problems. We have 6 here to work on. In this first one, we're basically going to be doing the same thing that I just talked about, which is identifying what's being done to the variable. We're adding 8, so that means we should subtract 8 from both sides. That cancels this out. It leaves us with X is equal to 15 minus 7. 15 minus 7 is 8. Our answer to problem 1 would be 8. Second problem, y minus 3 equals negative 8. Most problems get more difficult when we introduce more negatives, and that's the case here. So we just want to be a little careful with the negatives. But we're going to do the same thing. We're subtracting 3 from y in this equation, so we should add 3 to both sides. That leaves us with, this is going to cancel out, y equals minus 8 plus 3. Minus 8 plus 3 is minus 5, or negative 5. Next problem. 9x equals 36. The 9 before the x means we're multiplying x by 9. We want to do the opposite of that. That's divide by 9 to both sides. That will cancel out these 9s. And it leaves us with x is equal to 36 divided by 9, which is 4. Problem 4. X is being divided by 6. So we want to multiply both sides by 6. We can do that just by using this kind of notation, or we could put parentheses if we prefer, like this. These 6's are going to cancel out. That's why we did it. That leaves us with x is equal to 5 times 6, which is 30. Now, let me show you that step you can take if you want to verify that your answer is correct. Let me change my color for that. We're going to check to see if 30 is the correct answer to this problem by substituting it in for x. In the original equation, 30 divided by 6 equals 5. We simplify this. 30 divided by 6 is 5. And this is what it looks like when you've proved that you have the correct answer. 5 is equal to 5. That's true. That is the correct answer. X equals 30. Now, I included some decimals here because this works with decimals equally well. You'll probably need to use your calculator when there's decimals involved. But we're going to do the same thing. We're adding 5.5 or 5.25 to y. So let's subtract 5.25 from both sides. That cancels this out. And we subtract 5.25 from 10.5, and we get 5.25. That's just a coincidence that our answer happens to be the same number that we used for subtraction, but just a demonstration that this process works with decimals as well. And in problem 6, we are multiplying a by 8. So let's do the opposite of that. That's divide by 8, both sides. That will get our variable all by itself on the left-hand side. And we're left with a equals 26 divided by 8. Now, that doesn't look like it will give us an integer answer, and it doesn't. We have to do that division with the calculator, and that's fine. That gives us an answer as a decimal of 3.25. Or you could do this as a reduced fraction as well. But as a decimal, our answer for that would be 3.25. So hopefully that helps you understand the process that you need to go through with one-step equations. Good luck on your practice.